So hey guys, as I promised, I went on and did a quick little video just to show you how I was able to accomplish those eyebrows while already having my foundation on. So right here I'm using M.A.C brow set in the shade Girl Boy, and this is a very light auburn color, and I put this on top of my brows first in order to lighten it before adding my pencil. This kind of gives it like a bleaching effect, looking like I actually dyed my eyebrows, but I haven't. So this calms down that dark like black hair in order for you to put a lighter color without it messing up. So here I'm using a $2 Jordana pencil, and I think it's in a medium brown. I'll double check it and make sure that everything is right. So here, starting the brow, you want to create a line under to carve out that brow and then drag it out to the tail. After doing that, you want to start with little small hair strokes to start to build that brow up. I know most people do a line at the bottom, then a line at the top, and then fill it in. I don't do that. I don't want my brows to look very hard. I want them to look natural as possible. So this small stroke that I'm doing, this allows me to build that brow one piece at a time without making it hard or making it heavy. You want those brows to look like real hair, excuse me, in your pictures, and as well as when someone gets close to you, you don't want it to look like a paint job. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just taking my time and building that with very small strokes. It's not a competition, it's not a race, so take your time. I like to add lots of strokes in the front because my brow tends to not have a lot of hair in the middle, and I don't want my brows to be standing 10 feet apart. Because you have on makeup and the fact that you're doing your brows, if you have a large gap in between those eyebrows, it will be accentuated, and you don't want to do that. So you want to just add small strokes in the middle to bring that brow a little bit closer. So I'm doing the same thing on the other side, starting at the bottom, carving that brow out and dragging that tail. I really don't have long brows, so I do have to pull that tail out a little bit in order for it to work. But you never want to go past that that diagonal line within the end of your eye out to where your highlight goes. So it's kind of like, that's why I also like doing the brows later, because it's already mapped out. Your face is already mapped out in the order where that brow needs to go, as opposed to not overdoing it. So again, you see me adding those strokes in the front just to give a little more color there, to make it look like I have a full brow. You don't ever want to bring your brows in close enough where they're into the highlight area in the middle of the nose, if that makes sense. You want to keep those, you want to bring those brows out, but you don't want to go past where your contour goes into the sockets of your eye. So it should sit somewhere in that area. So I'm just using a spoolie brush just to break down some of that product. If you ever feel that you've used too much pencil or it's a little too dark, just go in and brush it, and it'll break that pencil down like an eyeshadow in order for you to accomplish that look without too much product. So very small strokes. Take your time, build that brow. Don't draw it on, build it. One stroke at a time. Look at that, very natural. Now, of course, we're still going to use concealer to highlight this brow and to accent it. So you'll be able to see me do that next. I'm just looking for something. I should have cut this out, but you know what? Hey, it happens. That's what we do. We do our makeup and now we're looking for everything. So let's just keep going. All right, so I'm going to use a flat eyeliner brush. You can use an angle eyeliner, it's up to you. So very close to the bottom of that brow, you want to make a small stroke of a line, which is going to accent the total brow. So watch as I do that little product at a time, small strokes. I didn't just go in and create a huge line. Take your time. And especially since we're doing the brow afterwards, you don't want to get carried away. So just a little bit of product, and you want to cut that off, like I said, where that highlight, that under eye highlight comes into the upward area of your eye. So you want to cut it off there so it meets it. Now I'm just taking a regular eyeshadow brush, any type of dense, fluffy type of brush. You want to use that just to, I guess, rub the concealer in. That would probably be the best way to describe this. So I'm just blending it into the skin. I'm not taking that tail out into my highlight that's already set there. you notice how I brought the brush back to where I started. So you just want to just rub it in, brush it in. Now, adding that little bit of highlight under my eyebrow allowed that auburn color to pop just a little bit more, because first it was a little blonde and you really couldn't tell. Now I'm going to do it again on the other brow, same way. Little bit of product, make sure that you take your time. You don't want to go too fast and then get concealer in the brow and you have to start all over. So this is something that you want to practice. This is not a beginner skill. I know most beginners, people, it just depends on how you feel confident. Some people like to do their brows first. As I've educated myself over the years and taken pro classes, doing the brow later in the routine allows it to give a particular type of look as opposed to the brow being so bold and defined ahead of time. So you just want to keep brushing it out until it's gone. Okay, now the brows are essentially done there. I'm not going to put concealer on the top. You'll see the finished the picture in a second. But do not put concealer at the top of my brow. I know most do it. They like to put it in the bottom and put it on the top, and then they carve the brows out. That's normally done when you do your brows first. You don't have to do it this way because you already have your face on and that highlight is already there above your brow. So basically it's easier, it takes less time, and it gives you a very natural finish. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you. See you next time.